Welcome, everybody. It's Kathleen with Treesisters and Creative Interviews. And today I'm really happy to share with you the beautiful music and guitar playings of our tree brother, Geoff Robb. Hi, Geoff.
Hi, Kathleen. Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome. It's so good to have you with us. And I'm looking forward. We're gonna have some live entertainment here today, right? Over Zoom.
Yep.
Not as good as live. Now, I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about Geoff first before we begin. Geoff is an award-winning guitarist and composer, and his beautiful meditative compositions blend his classical training and background in healing with his love of Spanish and Celtic music. A master of the acoustic guitar with an intricate, richly harmonic style, Geoff has performed to audiences across UK and Europe at venues ranging from Buckingham Palace and the House of Commons to Glastonbury Festival. He performs on both steel string and nylon string guitars, including a beautiful maple guitar he built on an evening course in guitar making. Wonderful. And since 2019, you've been touring your show called The Music of Trees,
Yeah,
which
that's
weaves
right.
together tales of our woodland folklore and history with a suite of new original composition about trees. So I'm really excited, as I'm sure a lot of people want to hear all about what began you on this journey with, well, the music we is one thing, and then moving into, I think that the creating your own handmade guitar also out of the wood, there's something very special there that maybe you've been in touch with. But if you want to just explain where this whole passion for music of the trees came from for you.
Mm. Yeah, well, I've been working as a musician since I was 18, 19. I kind of went from street performing for 14 years around Europe, and then sort of playing in bars and weddings, and then doing more concert work. And it was about 5 years ago I started focusing on my own compositions, and and then about 2.5 years ago I wrote a piece and I called it The Willow. And I guess I was sort of, it just got me thinking about ways of writing music. I'd always written whatever came to me and then thought about the title afterwards. And then I realized actually by having a focus and deciding that I'm going to write about a certain thing, it gave me a whole new perspective on writing. So spending time with the tree, reading about the tree, researching, connecting, thinking about its properties and its energy, its medicine, bringing all those in, and then seeing what music came. And after doing The Willow, I just thought, wow, this was a really, just a totally new way of writing for me. And I immediately decided that's it. I'm just going to write music about trees now, and
Yeah.
spend the next year and a half focusing on that.
Wow, that's wonderful. So when you're talking about like you're connecting with trees. So how deep did that go for you? I mean, it feels like that this was a real turning point for you.
Yeah, yeah. It really varies. Like any kind of creative process, there's some days that I'll feel very connected and nothing will happen, nothing will come. Other days, a whole melody will come or a whole piece will come. But about halfway through the album, I kind of defined my process a bit more. I would just go to a particular tree. I knew what tree I wanted to focus on that day. I may have already found the tree and be revisiting, or I might just go to a place where I know there's lots of those trees. And I think I'll just start by sitting around the tree, talking to the trees, a bit of tree hugging, of course. Um,
Yes.
Make an offering to the tree, usually a bit of tobacco, and talk to the tree and just say
Mm.
why I'm here and ask for help if they want to give help. Just what is, and sometimes sometimes I'll just hear something straight away. Other times I'll get a feeling, and then I need to try and work out what that feeling means in music. So
Yeah.
it's always different. It's always different. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That it sounds like a really beautiful process. And do you write about it as well? I mean, in words, yeah, about
Not
feelings.
not really. Not really. Just a few notes on the album sleeve, but nothing. No, not so much. And a little bit on my website about the process, but.
Yeah, it's wonderful to think of it being expressed in just the musical notes and how that sounds. And I've listened to quite a few of them. I was kind of going from one to the other, and I really couldn't stop. So I'm really excited to share with everyone else. I also wanted to mention that in with you and your wife, who are both Treebrother and Treesisters, that she runs a forest school. Is that right?
Yeah, well, she
Where you.
trains. Yeah, she trains people who want to run their own forest school. Yeah, so she rent. So I'm lucky because she rents a woodland. So she has a 10-acre site, um, where I spend most of the time when I'm writing. Yeah,
Wonderful. And her name is Marina, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So both of you together are really deepening into what it means to be in the forest in different ways. And
Mm.
it sounds like a really brave relationship to, move into this exploration with the world. And I really appreciate that you've done that
Mm.
and that you're doing
Mm.
that. I have so many things I could ask you about the music of trees. What would you say is the most defining? Do all trees have similar music, or is there a certain defining one that would say this is about a tree, but there's a little uniqueness to it depending on the tree?
Yeah, every piece I wrote was such a different experience. Um, I think towards the end of the album, the last ones I wrote came more easily, and maybe as I became more attuned. But it was also to do with lockdown, um, because I had so much more time on my hands. As a working musician, and my day job is working in the music industry as well. So I had a lot of free time suddenly because there was nothing happening in the world of live music.
Yeah.
So I could spend 3 4 days just being in the woods, and I think normally that would be quite hard for me to take that much time in one week. So I think the music came. I find for me, if my mind is quiet and I don't have a long to-do list of non-creative things, then the creativity really flows. And when I've got a lot of other work to do, it's much harder to, because for me personally, I really need to be in a real kind of tranquil zone for it to happen properly.
Yeah. Wow. So I know that that is one of the very good things that came out of all of this was that a lot of people spent more time in nature and sort of reconnected
Yeah.
with nature, right? And that is the creative energy that that we're talking about too, because to be in nature is just your whole system relaxes and then comes alive, right? With this creative inspirations and, like you said, the music and the information, the messages, etc. They're all forms of art, and this is really interesting for me, to think about the voice of each tree and what they want to say through you.
Mm.
And and then also have you ever asked people what they're feeling when they're listening also to describe what that message was?
Yeah, I've got a friend who's quite tuned in, and her family played a game when I sent them the CD of Guess Which Tree It Is, and
Oh,
uh, and they just they didn't look at the titles, and they just used their senses to try and work out which tree was which, and they got a lot of them right.
oh,
so
great
so that
idea.
was yeah, so that was good news. I think I haven't written about the oak yet. Well, I've written about the evergreen oak, the holm oak, but I think the big trees like that we have here, like the oak and the beech,
Mhm.
they need to be quite strong pieces,
Yeah.
whereas the delicate trees are going to have more delicate music, like the, I guess like the fruit trees, like the cherry is a very kind of sweet piece of music. And the U, when I wrote the U, I just kind of came up with this almost medieval Celtic
Yeah.
melody, and I didn't really intend to, but it's, I think that is what I feel about the tree. It's very mythological and old, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think
You
I'm mixing my own knowledge of what that tree means to me. It's hard to separate what's just coming from the tree, what's in my head already, and
I don't think there is a separation.
no,
And
yeah, as long as it works.
I really think we try too hard to make the separation that we shouldn't be trying to do at all. And just falling into the realization that it's all we're all one. We're one ecosystem. There is nothing that, you know, the busyness that you were talking about before COVID, those are things that separate us, the time and the
Yeah.
going indoors and not being able to feel like we have the time to go outdoors and all of those kind of things. So I really appreciate you and your wife, Marina, both, you know, that's why I said that. I think it's brave. It's like it's a frontier. It seems like a new frontier, but it's not. It's really our nature. It's going more back to the like that, those times. And that's what we're really meant to do. And I did love the song The You, by the way. And it
Mm.
made me think, uh, well, a lot of this made me think of the the Om. And I was wondering if you had researched a lot of that on your journey as well.
I did read some things about it, um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I had a few friends suggesting I just chose those trees and made that the project, but that didn't. Yeah, that wasn't quite resonating with me. I wanted to just do whatever tree
Oh,
I was drawn
too.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
and ones I already had the relationship with. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that actually. Just tuning into what your heart is resonating with is always the best choice, and no
Mm.
matter what we do. But there is a lot of really interesting information around the Om and
Yeah.
all of the trees from the Celtic days and beginning. I also wanted to mention that there is another composer, and his name is Fitkin, and he's composed a piece for the birch tree, for a particular birch tree that just turned 150 years old, like I think last year. And what his plan is, I want to hook you two up, but
Mm.
what his plan is to do 3,000 miles on his bicycle. I think he's starting in Sweden. I have the whole map and everything, and it's been postponed because of COVID. But he has all of these concert halls that he's going to be scheduled at throughout Europe, and then end up in London at a big concert hall there. And he's looking to meet with people on the way, and in each area, you know, anything can happen. So as a tree brother, in the London area, right? You're sort of,
Yeah, I'm like an hour from London. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So maybe it's
yeah.
something, you guys can work out. But
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah. Hook me up.
know.
Hook me up.
I will hook
Yeah.
you up, no doubt. It's already part of my what I've got going here in that place, that crazy place. But yes, it's a project that, he's been growing for quite a while. He has an agent that set up his spaces and all that thing, and then it went on hold for COVID, I think, to the fall now. It was supposed to be like maybe May, and then it was moved to July, and now it's in the fall. But we'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed, and definitely connect you two. And I think you're of like mind, so that'll be a beautiful thing. And then I just wanted to ask you one more question before we go into hearing you actually play. Um, well, actually, I want to ask you two questions. The first one is, when did you find Treesisters, and what drew you to become a tree brother with us?
So I think yeah, it was a friend, Carrie Tree, who was performing a concert for you guys, and she shared it around, and I saw the email and thought, that sounds like an interesting organization. And so yeah, so I started looking you up, and yeah, having a look at the work you do, planting the rainforest, and I just thought, wow, that's something that is worth supporting, and
Yeah.
and connecting with. Yeah. So
Yeah.
only really last year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for, we've already started to talk about you donating a song to our album that we're putting together. It's sort of a grove thing. It's not a Treesisters project, but it's a singing grove, and it came out of an idea that a woman had about 3 years ago, just to donate a bunch of different songs and have a bunch of musicians and singers to be part of an album that plants trees. So I appreciate that you're already partially thinking about doing that. And the second question I wanted to ask you is, are you going to be playing your handmade guitar right now for us?
And no, I've got the other one here actually.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I
This
don't,
this one's
don't
this was handmade for me in the same building, but
ah,
no, the one I made is a classical guitar,
oh,
and I've just yeah, this last album, the music of trees, everything was on the steel string, so that's
I-
my baby at the moment. When I'm touring, I take them both and I play both, but yeah, at the moment I've seemed to be focusing on the other one.
yeah, I think it's wonderful though, that you created your own guitar as well and working with
Mm.
the wood. I'm sure that I don't know if that was how that timed in with the music of the trees, but
No, it was before I started writing about trees. But yeah, I always fancied the idea, but I'm not a carpenter. I didn't really have the skills.
yeah.
But it was a friend of mine ran the course, and he's by your side every time you do anything, and it took a long time and a lot of patience. But yeah,
Yeah. How long did it take?
well, it took me a year and a half. And then unfortunately the teacher moved away, so I had to get his assistant just to do the last touches on the neck and things and
Yeah.
spray it. But yeah, it was a lot of work. I don't know if I do it again
Yeah, I can only
until I've got
imagine.
a lot of time. Yeah.
I have a handmade Takamine guitar, and it's probably about, well, what is it? 30, maybe older than that, 30 years old or something like that. And every time I open the box, it still has a glow to it. I can't explain it, but I've never seen it except with handmade guitars.
Mm.
All right. So how are you feeling? Are you ready to
Yeah, I'll just check I'm in tune.
fire us? I'm going to put you on speaker view. So just see you and your guitar, and just begin when you're ready.
Okay, I'm going to play. I think I'm going to play the Linden Tree, so which is it's the Old English name for the lime. And this is one of the trees in Marina's woodland, and it's the only lime tree there. And I was just drawn to it, uh, and we put a bench near it, so it was a good place to sit and play. And yeah, I think yeah, I'll just go for it.
Mm. Oh, thank you so much. That was so beautiful. It's amazing how beautiful it sounds even over Zoom.
Oh, good, good. There's always a
Yeah.
worry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's like, I'm going to send the link to the actual recording for everybody too, because I'm sure that it's even better. But this was like amazing. And it's
Mhm.
just so beautiful. It totally took me away. I forgot where I was for a little bit here.
Mm.
I
Yeah. Well,
appreciate that.
you can listen to the whole album for free on my Bandcamp page. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'll put that link up. And is there anything that you want to tell us about the linden tree that you learned? I know the linden tree from the linden. We don't really have linden trees here. At least they're not, I'm sure there are somewhere that it's not a native tree to where
Mm.
I am. But I heard about the linden flower oil as being a very high resonance of the feminine energy. And so I've got some of that, and I use it from time to time when I do some things with aroma. So I was wondering if there's anything you wanted to share about the linden.
Um, well, the wood is used for quite a lot of musical instruments.
Mm.
Um, on the guitar I made, there's a little bit of lime, like a really thin strip in the veneer. But yeah, it's used for puppet making, drum shells, and like a lot of solid body guitars, like the electric guitars and basses. A lot of those are made of lime. So it's quite an easy wood to carve. Yeah, we have two or three different types here: large leaf, common, and small leaf. And there's a little thing I like that is in Germanic folklore, so in old and sort of German times, they used to say you couldn't tell a lie under a linden tree. So people would get married under the tree, and carriages of justice would happen under the tree.
I love that. We need more linden trees, more places that you cannot tell a lie. Mm. I love that. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing about that and for taking the time today to sing with us, taking your time away from the woods where I'm sure you're headed back to. And, I want to also to meet your wife, Marina, and talk to her about her forest school. I'm sure everybody will be really interested in that as well. So thank you for your time with us today. If you want to leave, if you could leave one thing that would be inspiring to everyone, who wants to connect with Earth, who wants to express their creativity, who wants to
Mm.
make a difference, what would that be?
I would say pick a nice day when it's not too cold and just go by yourself, whether that's a forest or just a park. Just somewhere quiet where you can be by yourself in nature and just lie down under a tree. And I just love looking up at the sky, seeing the branches, and just allowing that connection and just taking that moment for yourself. Yeah. Hmm.
Very wise, very
Hmm.
wise. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you again soon. And thank you for sharing your inspiration with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.